way. You be thinking about how you can help people, especially in our YTV business, because as we bring people on, they become business partners, and we always tell them we're going to do everything we can to help them.
You think they believe us?
And I think, for the most part, people believe us. They just have a problem, most people, that is, in believing that they actually have a team of people or have people that are going to work with them. Because in today's world, let's be realistic, for the most part, most people are working and they're in it for themselves. But the thing I often think about is, if you're working with somebody in another business, or you're working for another business, they'll call meetings and they have training sessions. So every now and then you have to come together and you have to meet and you go through training sessions. And that's all basically aimed towards the betterment of that business.
They're so boring.
Yeah,
oh my
a lot of
goodness,
them are
they're boring.
And you think, like, why do we have to go through this? Well, you have to go through it because meetings are not optional, but they're mandatory.
Well, the reason they go through them is because they want that paycheck.
Yeah. But when you got your own business, then you don't really have a boss. But if you won't treat your business like you treat somebody else's business, in other words, you put more of your time, your energy, and yourself into someone else's business to building their dreams than you do yours, you probably just haven't come to the realization of what you really have. So a lot of people that come into YTB, they come up with all kind of excuses of why they can't meet or why they can't pick up the phone and call you and have a discussion about what's going on with them or how you can help them. Any advice you can give them. You talk to them about being on certain calls. Well, no, I don't have time for this. Of course, we make things easy in the fact that, when they can't be on calls, we have what's called replays. So, you can listen to the calls that you even have to miss.
And they're not that long, like 15, 20 minutes. They may be a little long-winded, but, if you can sit in church for 3-4 hours, maybe 2. But it's nothing like that. Nothing like that.
The bottom line, though, is if a person's in position where they can actually help themselves and their families, then they ought to be willing to take a little time out to do the things that need to be done to help them. On the job, how much time do your supervisors take out just to say, hey, look, we're going to help you increase your income?
Well, if we're going to make this conversational, I really think that a lot of people say, well, I can't do this because they've never done it before. Now, if you've never done something before, or if you've done it before and you just did it wrong, it's kind of like putting the left shoe on the right foot. It doesn't feel right, but then you find out that someone says, hey, you got your shoe on the wrong foot, and you switch them. Okay, now it feels better. Now you can walk better. Now you can run. Now you can do whatever. So, and then some folks just don't want to be told. And some people have this I'm not worthy complex, which is just a bunch of nonsense to me. I
think people have a problem with time and their concept of time. Most people will tell you, I don't have time for this and I don't have time for that. I got so many irons in the fire. I don't know what fire they got irons in.
Fire.
If you have irons in the fire for so long, they get hot and you can't handle them. So,
good point.
Sometimes you need to take some of those irons, you need to move them out, you need to function with them.
That's a good point.
But the other side of that is, you got so many irons in the fire that you can't take time out to do something for yourself, your business, something that's going to benefit you. But when your supervisor or your boss tells you,
work overtime,
you got to work overtime, or they tell you, well, we decided we're going to have a meeting tonight. It don't really matter what you had to do. You start scrambling to make sure that you're at that meeting because it's mandatory.
Did you see those horses out there? They're riding horses.
Yeah, that's because they got time to do that. People do what they want to do. That's like a whole lot of people be sitting down watching a basketball game. It's sort of, you stop and think about it. All those guys that are sitting on the bench in basketball or around there on the court, you think about all the money they're making How much of that are they going to send you a check for?
Nothing. And
Nothing.
here's all I say to people, Kenny, is whatever we do, it's never easy. Success doesn't say I'm going to come at you easy. Just like we learned in the lesson this morning in the church service we went to, is that Eve and Adam, they were naked, but they weren't ashamed. And then they messed up. Well, when Eve bit the fruit, nothing changed. When Adam bit the fruit, the bottom fell out everything. They had to be kicked out of the garden. They had to have, and they're basically, well, here's something else that I didn't think about. You know, when brother was talking about how he said to dress or take care of the garden, maintain it, and keep it, meaning in Hebrew, keep means to guard, because the enemy was already out there, you know.
Yeah.
So now he had the cherubim with the flaming sword to keep Adam and Eve out. And they had this baby, the first baby, Cain. Yeah, that was what he was talking about, Cain. Well, to kind of wrap things up, Cain was a murderer, yet Cain built a city. You have to go through first 4 chapters of Genesis to really capture that.
But you know what's really, here should be the learning part, especially for people that are in the business. And when I say in the business, that are in YTV,
Well,
or even if you go into anything else.
Yeah.
When you hear about the story about Cain and Cain slaying his brother, a lot of people said, okay, this dude was a loser. He was a bad guy. Nothing good would come from him. You know, the ground was cursed. And so now, when he before had things just come to him and blessings from the ground, now he has to work and till the ground. So he had to do extra. He had to work hard.
And he couldn't stay in the same place because he had to wander.
Yeah,
he had to get away.
Here's what I think is really important about that. A lot of people will look at a business and say, well, they had this challenge to come up. Well, they were sued over this. Well, they had people that left.
So?
Well, you know, in any
get
business
divorced
you have,
every day. My
you know,
God.
any business you have, people don't think about this, but people are always coming and going.
But it's a marriage business. Some folks been on their 3rd and 4th business if you look at marriage as a business.
Well, if you look at marriage as a business, yeah, it's not.
They couldn't handle their business.
Some people. But the bottom line, though, is people come and people go. So when people come and go, that doesn't mean you give up. I mean, you know, when you look at what happened to Cain, even though he was out of the garden and he had to go wander from place to place, he found a place where he could build.
You believe we've been yakking almost 10 minutes?
Yeah, you know what though? Stop and think about this. When he stopped to build, he stopped to build for himself. But because he stopped to build something for himself, other people came along and saw where he built at.
And
they built.
And people miss that.
Built on
they
that.
miss it. We were supposed to have dominion, period.
Okay, but so what
Get
I'm
out
talking
and
about,
get your
though,
dominion.
is so when you look at what's been built in YTV, it's been built by the people that stuck and stayed.
13 years.
It's been built by the people who were dedicated and who said it doesn't matter what challenges, we're going to get through those.
Yep.
Okay, so now when you start looking at what's been built, you have something that's solid that's been built. That's why people are coming back.
Well, the thing is, we fought. Everybody fought their way to just keep your nose above water. And then a lot of people just, hey, tell the truth. A lot of folks, they just basically, they wait until everything is cleaned up. You know, the hurricane hit, we survived, you make it through, and now everybody else comes back. Nothing wrong with people coming back. But bottom line, just talking, and this is not YTV's opinion or the corporate opinion, this is my opinion. My opinion is that even though people left and ran and came back, this is probably one of the only businesses that welcomes you back with open arms without like having, you know, like, well, yeah, now you come back and stuff is easy. No business is ever easy. Even if they come back, Kenny, it's still going to require work. So if not this challenge like we had in 08, there's going to be another one coming in 2015, maybe 2016.
Well,
what you going to do when the challenges hit you? And I think that's what people forget about. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I think it's just as simple. Anything that's worth having, you're going to have to work for.
You gotta fight. I mean, there's people out there that's ready to take you out like a serpent. Just, you gotta fight it, you know? So, I guess wrapping up the first On the Road Again. What do we call this? On the Road Again with Kenny and Cynth'Ya Reed. May 4th, 2014. Oh, you're getting quiet now, huh?
Well, you know, if you have to, sometimes you have to be quiet so you can hear what's going on around you.
Yeah.
But you just, even in being quiet, you should keep your eyes open. Observe what's going on. So you learn from what you hear, but you also learn from what you see.
That's true.
So when you sit back and you think about it once again, the important thing is things don't come easy if they're worth having.
Not
you
that
have to
right.
be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to fight. But also you have to be willing to say, I'm going to join hands with people that have a like mind and have the same desires. We're going to work towards our goal together.
So what you going to tell our team members out there that might see this? Because you know some of them going to see it.
So basically, if I was talking to our team members or they were looking at this, the only message I really want to give them is we're a team. And when you're a team, there comes a time that you have to realize you need to come together and join hands and work together.
Yeah, conference call, webinar. I mean, we can do these things. So I guess if y'all out there and you see this and you hear this, you know we care about you. But you know we're going to keep on moving too. So, hey, we just want to know how you are. The business of life in the business. Whatever we can do for you, okay? Isn't that right, Kenny?
That's right. Whatever we can do to help you.
All right. And for you all that don't know already what Indiana looks like every place else on the planet. See, here's the road right here. On the road again. Do-do-do-do. I forgot the words. Willie Nelson made a lot of money off that song, and people be dancing, but Willie's still getting paid. Ain't that right, baby?
Yep, he's getting paid. He did the work.
Y'all have a happy week. Kenny and Cynth'Ya Reed, betterthandonuts.com.